I just discovered that there's a law that's called a law of nature, which is very interesting because everyone knows that there's laws, many different kinds of laws. There's civil laws, there's criminal laws, there's judicial laws, there's moral laws, there's spiritual laws, there's all kinds of laws. There's laws having to do with employment. When you work for an employer, he has a set of laws of do's and don'ts. Just about every culture and every system of, whether it be economical or political or religious or philosophical or some kind of other fraternal organization or agency, they all have their own set of laws. Even the federal government has laws, and each state has its laws. And many of the laws of each of these forms have similarities with each other and commonalities, but some of them are not consistent with the overall national federal laws. They differ a little and they vary a little here and there. So it's a matter of personal preference. You don't really have to join those particular agencies or churches or fraternities if you don't want to. Just like the fraternity of the LGBT, the gay and lesbian group. They have their own set of beliefs and standards for what is right. But you don't have to be a member. So you do have a choice there when it comes to certain laws. But there are laws that are mandatory. But there's a law called the law of nature. I just read it in a passage written by Justin Martyr, a church father, addressing the Roman Senate to be a little bit more lenient on the Christians, because there was a guy named Urbanicus. He was a ruler or governor that was being harsh on people who believed in Christ. He had a faulty understanding of who they were and what they were about based on hearsay, based on rumors that weren't true, most of which weren't true. That they were being ostracized and criticized, and just because of what some other people were saying about them, that some rumors and accusations that were false. They weren't disobedient to the laws of Rome at all. They were just believers in Christ. And he's making an argument to the Roman Senate that these Christians were better in their ethics than most of their ordinary citizens were. And so he was given a defense for him, so that the Senate would write, this member of the Senate would write letters to these governors saying, hey, these Christians shouldn't be condemned just for being Christians if they're not breaking any laws of Rome. So he sent out some letters, and Christians were treated better in those areas where the letters were sent. And there was some alleviation from persecution because some corrections were made concerning what these Christians were really all about. They weren't lawbreakers. They weren't doing anything that was worthy of condemnation. But you had these false accusers bringing up false charges. And it's interesting that the tables turned, just like in the days of Daniel. Instead of, once Daniel was delivered out of the fire, out of the lion's den, rather, the people that were making the false accusations, that were lying, were thrown in there instead of after Daniel was delivered. So even Haman, the persecutor of the Jews back during the time of the Persian rule, though Haman was hanged on the gallows pole that was meant for Mordecai, because of Esther, who was chosen by God to deliver her people. So his tables can turn, tables can flip-flop, like instantly, especially if God's in it.